this is not necessarily a today issue. I mean, certainly a good idea to start thinking about it, but we think that we'll be well into 2023. I mean, it could be as soon as the first half of 2023 that we're actually looking at enforcement and compliance with this, but I think it's probably going to be fall of 2023. There's some listing exchange rules that need to come out. We don't know. I mean, personally, I expect that the listing exchange rules will hew very closely to what the SEC has already published, but we don't know that. So there is some wait and see. And again, taking a measured approach, I think is quite a good idea. But sort of stepping back, what are we ultimately going to be looking at here with these clawbacks? Unlike the pay versus performance, there's an implementation, there's a disclosure, and there's an enforcement element to this. So for companies that don't have clawback policies in place, you're going to need to put one in place. And for companies that do have clawback policies in place, you're going to need to take a look at that policy and see whether or not it complies with the current rules. And frankly, I would guess
nobody would comply with the current rules because no one in their right mind would have possibly adopted such a draconian rule on their own, right?
I certainly haven't found the client that was able to predict exactly how this would shake out and have that policy.
That's a nicer way to phrase it.
So, I know we're going to dig a little bit deeper, and so I don't want to take up all of the space in the room to talk about that. But I will say just sort of the very plain English, highly abstracted way to think about this rule is it's really focused on incentive compensation that's tied to performance that's measured based on financial measures. And at a very simplistic level, the rule is really just attempting for executive officers to recover, to force the company to recover, except for in incredibly limited circumstances. What the SEC has deemed as an overpayment, basically the amount of incentive pay that they earn based on erroneous financial statements and the amount that they should have earned.